Welcome back, everybody, in Off the Bench podcast. We just had an amazing episode with Gabby Gladio, Alabama gymnast, but now we get to follow up with a twofer, a BOGO special. We have Cal gymnast Jordan Kane joining us. Jordan, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are blessed as always. Just like I said, tonight's a gymnastics night, and this part of the episode is all about you. We get to, learn a little bit about Cal Gym, and we get to learn about Jordan Kane. Finally, the world-renowned Jordan Kane. Jim has been putting together the clips and the highlights, and I was just like, man, this is going to be a fire episode tonight.
Well, it helps. Her two teammates that we had on before were excellent, and they all speak so highly of each other. So it just makes you excited when you have anybody from that team. But before we get into your story, got to break the ice. Now that Halloween is over, Jordan, are you one of those people that actually enjoys the month of November for what it is? Or are you already in Christmas mode?
I am already in Christmas mode. I absolutely love Christmas. Definitely my favorite holiday.
So, do you go ahead and start watching movies, turn on music? Because my wife was like that. She's nuts. Like the music was on earlier, and I looked at her and I was like, it is November 8th. It is still 80 degrees outside. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, definitely got to get in the spirit early. It goes by so fast, so got to soak it all in.
Daniel, your Christmas decorations up already?
We are working on it, man. You know how the display, we get more and more stuff every year, and it takes longer and longer to get it perfect. And I've gotten to the point where I put so much work and effort into it. Like, I don't want to put it up and then immediately have to take it down. So there are lights up around my house.
She wants, and the good part is I don't have to help her put up. It's a financial thing. She wants that abominable snowman from Lowe's. It's like $500. I'm like, we do not need that. But she's like, and Jordan will probably relate to this. It is so much fun. Like, it just takes Christmas to another level, and everybody will drive by and love it. And I'm like, I'm not worried about everybody else.
I agree.
Drop off some donations. Donate to Jordan.
But sticking to a fun theme, we like to ask, if you could be any Disney character, any of them, who would you be?
Oh, that's a really tough one. I would probably say Cinderella, just because I love the movie, and yeah, just a classic always.
I mean, you got to remember though, for the habit, you're gonna have to deal with some bullying and torment from your sisters. Just prepare yourself.
Oh yeah, builds character. So
I love it. That tells me everything, Daniel. Looking at it from the right side.
Jordan said them sisters gonna get them hands. She's gonna give them the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Always everything with love.
Daniel, who would you be? Gaston? Dude, I love his character.
I'd be Gus. Gus.
I don't even know. I'm glad I'm the one asking the question. I've gone to Disney so many times, and they're all. I could do any of them. So when it comes to music, this is the last one, and then we'll get into your story. We can tell a lot by the music you listen to, and so the question is, if you could go to any concert anywhere, Jordan, who would you go see? Where would you go see them?
Okay, so I'm going to have a couple different answers. So if we're going country, it would probably be Jordan Davis, because I love his music and just everything he stands for. He loves God, and just his music is so good, and he's such a family guy. So him, definitely. And then I also love worship music, and I actually got to see Brandon Lake in concert, so I would honestly go see him again.
Okay, so it's funny you said that, Daniel. I got to take this section out a little longer because we did have church tonight before we did the first episode, and
good, because I don't know anything about any of those folks.
Well, the worship team decided to do Brandon Lake's song, And I looked over at my wife and I said, "You better not be sitting there thinking about how you wish Brandon Lake was on stage right now." And she just has this look of guilt on her face. And I was like, and she goes, "Our team sings it good." I said, "That's not what I'm talking about." I said, "They don't look like Brandon Lake." And she just laughs. And then so I'm actually taking her to the Revolution thing or whatever in Orlando in January where he's headlining. So she'll get to see him. But Daniel, this guy, we talk about the athletes that come on here and how they're blessed and everything. Like, so this dude can sing better than everybody else. And oh, by the way, he looks like a Christian Viking. Like he's got the long hair and all that. And it's like,
let's see what Brandon Lake's all about.
Let him turn it in your.
why you pick a slow song?
I mean, this is
work it for your good.
this dude. You know what? It ain't even fair. I'm turning this off. Like, ladies love Brandon Lake.
No, I'll tell you when it's over, just go to his Instagram, hear how he sings, and then look at him, and then just think about how God truly blessed him and why did he leave us out on this? That's all I want to know.
I mean, I just that was the first song that I pulled up, and it has 3.2 million views, which is just unbelievable. I mean, the guy's got a good voice from the little bit that I heard. So
I tell you what, both your answers though, Jordan, Daniel can appreciate it because we get a lot of the same answers over and over again. And so it's nice because it gives him something to look up, right? Like normally you get Morgan Wallen like 9 out of every 10, and Daniel's like, I'm tired of talking about Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I just when you said let me start with country, I was like,
don't do it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, no,
but
those are my two go-to genres.
You know, it is refreshing to I don't dislike country music. I just dislike Morgan Wallen heavily. But glad you didn't say that.
Did you dislike him as much as you do now, or is it really because everybody keeps saying it?
It's just, me. Like, if you're going to commit to the people, then put on a show for the people.
Oh, you're talking about
multiple times this guy's just let folks down. And so, anyhow, I digress. But this is about you. So let's get your story, Jordan. Obviously, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? Where's home for you?
Home is in Rhode Island. So I'm actually across the country in California now.
Daniel,
wow.
452 guests. Never Rhode Island.
Nope.
Small state.
What if I was to go to your hometown or just Rhode Island in general, because I feel like you could walk around Rhode Island.
You can.
What is the one thing that I should experience? One thing I should do, taste, touch, feel? Like, what is that one thing?
I would say going to Newport, Rhode Island. The beaches down there are beautiful, and it's just a really good feel for everything. And you can kind of walk around, explore. There are little shops everywhere, and it's just so homey in general. So really nice.
Do you get this all the time? Is Quahog a real place in Rhode Island?
I have actually never heard of that.
It's from Family Guy, and that's where they live. So I was just curious if that's actually a place.
I personally have never heard of it, but I would say one thing: if you are in Rhode Island, you need to try coffee milk because nobody knows what it is, and anytime I mention it, everyone is so confused.
All right, explain, because I like coffee and I like milk. I don't like coffee in my milk or milk in my coffee. So what is this phenomenon that you speak of?
It's basically, it's like chocolate milk, but coffee milk. So instead of chocolate syrup in it, it's coffee syrup. So it's not actual coffee, but it's just like milk flavored like that tastes like coffee.
I'm a child. Just give me chocolate milk.
Yeah. Give him the bottle of Yoo-hoo.
Look, the other day, what's funny is on our other show, we were sitting there with two pro baseball players today, Jordan, and the other host that I have is like 15 years younger than me. And so we were talking about food, and I said, why don't you go make yourself some fish sticks? And he was like, man, and the reality is what he doesn't know is a couple of days ago, me and my son were munching on some fish sticks, and I love them. So I'm a child. I will dip everything in ketchup or ranch. I don't care. I eat everything.
My cues strikes me as a fish stick eater.
That's why I said it, and he got so upset, which makes me think I called him out.
Hot Pockets, pizza rolls, bagel bites, and fish sticks. That's my cues as diet. But
that is not a gymnast diet, though. And which, by the way, I don't have it in the notes. Daniel, make sure before you turn it over to me, you talk to her because she has started her own meal prep.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Well, let's talk about your family then, and then we'll get to meal prepping. All right. Family life. You got brothers, sisters, mom, dad, everybody in the picture?
Yep. So older brother who's fully working now, both my parents, and yeah, so they're just all at home and thriving. Miss them every day, but you know, daily FaceTime always makes it work.
I'm telling you, I used to be anti FaceTime, and then I had kids, and then it was like, oh my God, it's so much easier to call people and give my daughter the phone for FaceTime and let her entertain the conversation. But I feel you. You know, biggest influence growing up. Obviously, when you have a family, it could be a number of different people. But for you and your athletic career as a kid, like who was the influence for you?
I would say my mom was one of the biggest influences in my life. Just somebody who was always there for me, would take me to practice, drop anything she was doing to get me where I needed to go, whether that was a doctor's appointment, school, just anything. She was always there for me. And I was also very close with my club coach, and he really did a lot for me growing up as well. Just helped me along, not just as a gymnast, but also as a person. And I am forever grateful for that as well. So I would say those two.
It seems like they did the trick. They did their job because two-time JO national qualifier, Region 6 all-around champion, earned victories on uneven bars and balance beam. He qualified for the 2018 Elite Compulsory. You were a member of the highest academic honor roll. I mean, that like it's amazing like to hear the athletic accolades, but then when you throw the academic stuff in there as well, like tell me about how you balance all of that, being an athlete, but also being a student and being highly academic driven. Like we hear stories about elite level gymnasts that homeschool and it's the best scenario for them. But for you, are you balancing it by going to school and going to the gym, or are you homeschooling? Like what is that scenario? What's it look like?
So when I was growing up, I did homeschooling until 8th grade. And then I actually went to high school for half days. So the school that I went to was very flexible with everything, which was so helpful. And I'm so forever grateful for them. So I was able to kind of go in, get the real school experience, and then finish whatever I missed later in the day. So that was very helpful. And I really learned how to be an independent learner. And I feel like that's what helped me thrive the most, especially going into college. I wasn't very reliant on other people. And in terms of how I learned, I kind of put it on myself and learned what was best for me in terms of time management and how I learned best, how I memorized things. And that's really what I attest my knowledge and ability to thrive here at Cal to.
I mean, that can be a scary thing when you go to a big level university, when you are an independent learner, because now you're going into lecture halls where it could be 200 people or more. That's packed, and like it can be overwhelming, to say the least. So, I mean, it's awesome to hear like how you were able to transition and make it all work. But take me back to meal prepping.
Yeah,
what's going on with meal prep? I gotta know.
So during COVID, there was just so much extra time, and I loved to cook. And I had started cooking years prior, and I figured, hey, why not make some money? I already meal prep for myself and my family, basically. So why not spread the word and see if anybody's interested? So ended up getting a few clients, started with my cousin actually, and then somehow spread to my brother's friends in college who lived basically 15 minutes from us because my brother went to a school that was 15 minutes down the street. So ended up getting the word out, and just each week would send out a weekly menu of 5 meals, would get the numbers on that. And then I would have to, plan out how much food to go buy, do all of the grocery shopping, and then come back, prep all the food, make it. And that was that.
Let me ask you this. When you are making all these foods, like it's great to make it for yourself and like it's you don't kind of like you appreciate it. But once you start making it for other people and it's a lot of the same meals for a massive amount of people, do you start like losing the love of what you're cooking because then it becomes this job? Like I feel like I love to cook and I cook in my house, but like there are times where I'm just like, this is a meal that I really would look forward to, but I'm just kind of over it right now.
Yeah, so I think what was helpful was I had like school and gym, and then cooking was almost this fun thing for me. And I got to at least make a little bit of money on the side as well. So honestly, it didn't ever feel like a job to me. It was more something I looked forward to doing on the weekend that was just different from what I do during the week, which was practice and homework and all of that stuff.
There you go, Jim. So you're 75 hard. You could order meal prep service from Jordan. She could ship it out to you and like boom, there you go.
I don't think Trey Jolly, who's been on the show that has a meal prep place right 1 mile down the street, would appreciate me ordering from Jordan.
I mean,
I would appreciate it.
Which I'll
go.
tell you, we had him on. He's a former college baseball player, and he was just getting his start. Daniel, he's booming, man. He's got like 3 locations now. Killing.
I mean,
That's awesome.
Stud muffins, man. He's
Yeah,
fresh.
that's the name of it too. It's great, and him and his wife are partners together. And so she does all the social media, puts together all the videos and the advertising, and he's back there grinding, putting together the food. And so they're a dynamic tag team. Now they got 3 locations. They got to have more people doing it, obviously. But at the time, it was just them.
Jordan, do you base your meals on certain macros or you just say here's the menu and I will ration it out and portion it appropriately?
Most of the time it was always a protein, some type of carbohydrate, and then a vegetable. So it was very much based on that, and then would kind of integrate some different stuff so it wasn't the same every week.
Gotcha.
So, Daniel, I've never been more excited to ask this question because, first of all, I don't even believe Rhode Island's real until I step foot in. But I want to know how someone ends up. So we're going to talk about your college choice. Cal's
Okay.
an amazing choice. That's not, but you're in Rhode Island. So I'm trying to figure out how we end up from Rhode Island to Cal and the thought process behind this. So talk to us. Why Cal?
So I'm going to attest anything that I sent to Cal initially to my dad. My dad was actually the one who told me, hey, send Cal an email, see where it goes. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go to Cal. Like, that's a really good school. And both my parents knew how much I dedicated my time to academics. So they knew I was very much capable of going to a school like Cal. But when I was that young, I didn't see that in myself necessarily. But I trusted my dad and I sent the email to Cal. And at the time when I sent the email, they actually didn't have any spots for my year. And then fast forward to a few months, I get another email saying, hey, some things have changed on our end. We'd love to come out to watch you practice and go from there. So Justin, who is one of the head coaches, flew out to Rhode Island for basically a day just to watch practice. And then I ended up coming out for an official visit, and the rest is history. And that's how I ended up here.
Well, Justin, first of all, was doing like I did. He's like, I want to see if Rhode Island's real and then see if Jordan is really there. And so start with that. But here's the question I got for you, because this is my thought. My daughter is at college, but she's only 5 hours away. Like, after you go to Cal, does he reevaluate this and think how hard it is to come see you?
After I committed, or
Yeah, after you started going there, is he like, have you had a conversation like just how far away you are and how, to come see you in general, but obviously compete, it's a long way.
Oh yeah, like my parents or the coaches?
The parents.
Yeah, my parents definitely, I am very close with my family. And freshman year for me was really tough in terms of getting homesick the first couple months. Funny enough, so I actually live with Ella and Maya and have lived with Ella and Maya for my entire 4 years here. And I just remember going back and forth with Ella, just like being so homesick. The two of us would sit in our dorm sometimes and just like reminisce, like, oh, wow, I really miss home. And honestly, FaceTime was the biggest help during that time. And you kind of find the family here when you don't have your actual family with you at that point. And that's where I really leaned into the girls and my team, and they became my family here at Cal.
And see, I didn't even know, I promise on everything, Jordan, that's coincidental. Like, I didn't know y'all were actually roommates.
Yeah.
I knew they were after I had because Ella had said have Maya on. But
Yep.
I actually asked you on my own like initiative. So the idea that you're roommates with them, but it speaks to why then they, obviously I told you they talked about your character. That's what Daniel had talked about. But it just shows how tight knit y'all are because y'all, like I said, all have the nicest thing, and it makes sense. Y'all are roommates, so you're besties. You've been family
Always.
But let's talk about that culture shock. You get out there, you talk about being homesick. Like just how different are we? Because obviously, I've been out to Cal. I keep making the jokes about Rhode Island. I don't know how to compare it, but for you, like when you get there, I mean, is it complete culture shock?
Yeah, so different for me. I live in a little cul-de-sac area, like super just, tiny town. And then I come here and it's a city and I'm just not used to that. I used to having a car and you drive to the grocery store and all of that. And then I come here and you're walking everywhere, or you have like a moped or a scooter and something like that. And just the transportation and how you get around is so, so different. But honestly, I really enjoyed coming out here and seeing a different lifestyle, and has made me grow so much as a person. And I'm so forever grateful for that.
Daniel, you were a college athletics coach. Would you want your athletes riding around on mopeds? I feel like this is dangerous.
I'm really safe. I promise we are very safe.
He's sitting there thinking, I don't want to take the fun away from them, but he's like, I also don't want one of them to be dumb and get hurt and ruin the season.
There's like a balance of being a coach and being overly protective with rules and regulations and how you want your players to operate. In this particular instance, I think you just have to trust that be you, have fun, enjoy your time, but please be smart about what you do and know that if you're doing if you're jumping off the curbs on these things and doing dumb stuff, you're probably going to put the team in a bad spot.
She don't see like she's got that in her.
I mean, what I told my guys all the time is it's not that I don't trust you, it's just I don't trust you.
So I got to get to this, Daniel, because Jordan, we were just talking about last episode. I've talked about it with every gymnast. I find the balance beam to be the most incredibly difficult thing in sports. And you, freshman, debut on the balance beam, first meet, just how were you excited? Were you scared to death? Talk me through it.
Yeah, definitely. Beam has always been one of my favorite events to train for sure. But competing is definitely a different mindset and can be one of the more challenging events to compete, I would say, just because it is very much, okay, you have to stay calm and, just trust yourself and stay within your rhythm on the beam. Because one little thing, you can, be slightly off to the side, but a lot of times if you're in practice, you can fix that and you'll be perfectly fine. But say in a meet setting, your adrenaline is a little bit higher, so it might throw you off the beam in a completely different way. So it's definitely something I've had to train and work on a lot being here. And yeah, I would say freshman year, definitely super exciting, but definitely stressful in that first scenario for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because we just came off talking to Alabama, to your point, and the stress that comes with it, not only just the slight miscues, but Alabama, in Fort Worth, I was there, and 3 straight elite gymnasts come off the beam, and it's it just tells you the difficulty, especially on that stage. And so that's why I asked you as a freshman, first meet ever, I could think, oh man, couldn't you throw me out there on the floor? Let me get loose. No. But, with that, that was the only, action you got this season. Is it one of those that, did you have an injury, or is it one of those things they kind of treated it almost like a red shirt where he just wanted you to learn?
So freshman year was actually very different, I would say, for me, because I actually came into Cal with a back issue that I was managing for the most part, but getting closer to the beginning of the season, my back started to get a bit worse and I was struggling to train normally and just wasn't able to kind of function as a normal human being, if that makes sense. I was really in pain, standing too long, sitting too long, struggling to sleep through the night just because I couldn't get comfortable. So freshman year, I actually really didn't train much after that first meet. I ended up searching out some different doctors and trying to find answers in terms of what I could do next for my back. And I attest this all to God's timing and everything, because I ended up seeing a video from a girl who actually went on the visit here at Cal with me my junior year. And she actually had a spinal fusion for her back in Texas. But every doctor I had seen told me if I got a spinal fusion, I would be done with gymnastics and I would need to medically retire. But I was at a point where I was going to medically retire because I couldn't function just where I was at. So I ended up reaching out to her, and she connected me with her doctor in Texas. And I ended up going through with the spinal fusion. And that kind of took my freshman year going into my sophomore year, was that recovery time period. And that's kind of then where my gymnastics career almost started in college then.
Yeah, I can only imagine, obviously, how scary that was, that whole process. But, was this something where, you really leaned into your faith? You talked about it as a God thing. Was this one of those things where you were able to get stronger and leaning in him and just trusting, what the outcome was?
100%. I attest all of that strength to God, because I spent months praying on guidance and where I should go, because I was at a point where I needed to be able to function as a normal human being first and foremost, and then gymnastics was going to be a second thought at that point. And truly, in the back of my mind, I didn't feel like I was done with gymnastics, and that's where I leaned into my faith and just really taught me how to have patience and wait for an answer to come. And that was an answered prayer for me to find the doctor in Texas. And honestly, going through with the spinal fusion, I didn't know what my future in gymnastics would look like. I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back, but I told myself and promised myself that I was going to give it my best shot no matter what that looked like. And that's where I really have found the joy in gymnastics again, because I tell myself all the time, I'm grateful and blessed to even be here in the first place. Never mind like going into the gym and being like, I need to do this, I need to do this. I get to do it. I didn't get to do that before.
Well, and it's one of those things, right? They always say you don't appreciate things as much until you don't have them. You almost didn't have it, right? And it gave you an appreciation that was just different. But, you get thrown right back into the Lion's Den when you come back. Like, we talk about right out the gate in the opener. So you come back, you're just at Utah, nobody special. Well, go ahead and hit the floor. So, talk about that. You're coming back off the back, you've really got to be feeling the nerves, right? Because now it's not even just about the stage, but you don't want to injure yourself. Obviously, you've been practicing, but you're doing it there on the stage. So what was that like?
Yeah. So funny enough, I was actually probably 7-8 months post-op at that point, and I had just started routines at the end of December, and that was just starting beam routines, not even floor routines. So I really only started to probably come back on floor sometime in January. So it was very quick turnaround on all of those fronts. But again, I was going to give it my best. I was in the gym working my butt off, and I was having fun with it and wanted to put myself in a position where if the team needed me, I could step in, hopefully. And that's kind of where that one came in. And definitely was so excited to be able to go out there, because I love competing floor. That is by far my favorite event to compete, and was so grateful to be given the opportunity to go out there. Didn't necessarily have my best performance, but definitely was a learning opportunity for me, and was grateful to kind of get my foot in the door again with competing.
Absolutely. Well, that team obviously was the start of something that y'all are building on right now. Y'all seem to keep leveling up each year. So talk about that. Obviously we're familiar. We talked to your roommates about it, but just overall, like Cal, 2023 is when, said basically we're coming, and we're obviously going to get into last year, but just talk about how special that season was as y'all continued to grow and get better as it went on.
Yeah, our team, I think what makes us very different than a lot of teams is how close-knit the entire team is. I know I can call upon any person on this team. They would pick up that phone immediately and be there for me no matter what. We very much have a culture of family and inclusivity, and I think that's what really makes us thrive and grow as a team. And I walk into the gym every day motivated, because I look across the gym and someone's doing something so amazing where I'm like, wow, that was awesome. I want to be like that. I'm going to push myself. So I'm going to try to do something that they're doing. And it just, all of us have this like healthy competition within the gym, and we're so supportive of each other. And that's what really has pushed us along. And I feel like is going to continue pushing us forward.
So talking to them, I got to do this again, Daniel. It's hard not when you look at this past season. It's the most difficult schedule I've ever seen in gymnastics. I mean, you start in Vegas, you got Auburn, Alabama, UCLA, then it's Michigan State, it's BYU. Y'all get Oklahoma multiple times, Arkansas, like it's just, and then you got Utah, and it just keeps on coming. And then you obviously have the big or the Pac-12, and then you have the postseason. So talk about how going against especially out the gate, right? That Super 16, going against some of the top out the gate to really kind of test yourself and see where you're at.
Yeah, I think for us, we always love a challenge. And when we see something that looks like a challenge, we're going to step up to the plate and do what we know how to do. And something that we really lean into is, okay, it is just us out there. It is just our team. We're going to go out there, do what we've been doing in the gym. It doesn't matter what's happening around us. It's kind of, okay, we know what we're capable of, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to go out there. We're going to stay connected and just be us.
Yeah. And, to have the composure y'all did, it really seemed like only Oklahoma was the thorn in the side, right? As you look and y'all had a 20-3 record, Alabama edged y'all out in that Super 16. But every test that was thrown at y'all handled it extremely well. It was really, cool to see, because I feel like y'all weren't getting enough respect, even from me and Daniel. I think we spent a lot of time talking about Oklahoma and the teams from the SEC. We were paying attention to UCLA and Utah, not thinking about what Cal was. And obviously I get to see y'all with my own eyes in Fort Worth to know, okay, I was clearly, sleeping on this team. But, you get some, big opportunities in some big situations, including that floor routine I had put out there to show people, the guest that was coming on, where you get the 9-9, just talk about that, because clearly you found your comfort zone coming back from, the year before, where we talking about you're just getting acclimated coming off the injury. So just talk about how good you're feeling now and how good, last season was being able to compete at the high level.
Yeah, last year, I think one word that described it was joy. I went out there and competed with joy, and I did it all for God. And I was able to do it because of him. And that's really where my strength came in. And every meet that went on, I gained confidence in myself and my ability that, hey, I belong here. Because I feel like sometimes when maybe you haven't been in that scene a little bit, you kind of start to doubt yourself a little bit, just because I hadn't competed in so long, and just my competitive experience wasn't necessarily where a lot of people's were. So that's kind of where each meet I really started to lean into my training and, hey, I've done this before. This is nothing new. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to have so much fun. I absolutely loved my floor routine last year. I really thought it showed my personality a little bit more and had so much fun with it. I know my teammates on the side, like, were always dancing with me, and I could always look over and they were there for me and stuff. So it was very exciting to be able to contribute in that way, which I hadn't been prior years. So
yeah. And so, like I said, I was there in Fort Worth, and I actually am, I'll do it for you. Look, I am an actual LSU fan, so I was there rooting against y'all. But no, so close. Aaliyah Finnegan has to stick her routine on beam to be able to beat y'all. That's how close it was. Y'all were so good, but the silver lining of this is y'all are coming back, and you've improved every year, and all the heavy hitters are coming back. So just talk about that, how excited y'all are. You talked about your roommates, and so I know it's got to be a conversation. Y'all are probably getting antsy and tired of waiting, like you're already ready for season to be here. Just talk about the excitement for Cal Gymnastics, and hopefully ready to build it and take it from second place to first place.
Yeah, 100%. I think each year is more exciting because, you want to build on the year prior, and we have a phenomenal freshman class coming in and really have been integrating them well with the team and just continuing to build our culture. And that's the biggest thing with us, is continuing to push the family, inclusivity, joy, just finding joy in every single moment is such a big thing for us. And we do our best gymnastics when we're having fun. And that will forever be a Cal W Gym one day better motto. So
Well, hopefully Daniel's going to get to see you live here soon. I'm hoping that his schedule allows him to the Sprouts Farmers Market Quad, because we are going to have between both. Of course, the one is really the one, right? It's Daniel. It's Utah, Cal, LSU, and Oklahoma, right? My preseason prediction already for the 4 teams that you're going to see on the Final Four.
Those are pretty good teams, so I hear.
Yeah. I mean, so the place got to be, but when you include the other day, we're going to have, now that we've had her on, we're going to have like 18 guests competing, Daniel. So you've got to find a way. I don't care if work, kids, or anything gets in the way. You got to come see Jordan, man.
I know I'm slacking in that department. I need to get out. And get it done.
He's the one that got me into gymnastics. I did not even watch gymnastics till I went down to his house, like, was it like 7 years ago? And he's sitting there watching, and I'm like, this is really entertaining. And then next thing you know, we're interviewing gymnasts like a couple years later, and I can't get this dude at the meets with me because he's always so busy.
That's so funny.
I mean, it's true. I mean, when you have kids, it changes your life, and time is never something that I have enough of anymore.
But you can bring your kid because she's a gymnast and she can see.
Bro, you think you know my kid, but you just
I understand the attention span at 7 is not there. I get it.
She would be great. She would love it. She would be entertained by it. The problem is after the meet, it's everything else after that. So
you've seen my world when I take my son to the baseball weekends. I got to do science museums and spend all this money on food and all this. I mean, that's part of it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, true.
They want to see Jordan just like you do.
You know, you're right. You're talking. You're making a lot of sense here. And there's not anything I can say that can be a rebuttal against it. So I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out and get there. But Jordan, before you get out of here, we got to play a game. It's called This or That. You ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right. It's very simple. I'm going to give you 2 options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both. Can't say neither. Just go with your head. Go with your heart. Go with your gut. Just be decisive and pick one.
Okay.
All right. Jim, we get to plug sponsors again, bro. We get to pay them bills. Who is This or That brought to you by?
I'm gonna go Old Dominic Distillery, in the heart of downtown Memphis. You know what? I'm not even just plug the product itself, Daniel. The apparel, man. You know, we were wearing it for last night's episode. The hats, the shirts, my wife, even the candles, Daniel, are awesome. Like I was like, man, like this candle is expensive, and then we lit that bad boy here, and it's like this house smells so good. So. Did you know, Daniel, Old Dominic doesn't just have, you know, the whiskey and the bourbon and the gin and the vodka, but man, t-shirts, hats, candles, whatever you need. It's a go-to with Christmas season coming up.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds like they got your Christmas, list in order for you, just in one spot, man. Stop by, check them out, pick up some candles, pick up some gear, some swag. Obviously, Jordan, we too enjoy Christmas, which is why we've talked a lot about Christmas, and it's not even close to Christmas in my opinion. We haven't even had the food holiday of Thanksgiving yet. So but we're ready. We're ready. Anyhow,
I'm on 75 hard, man. I can't even eat all that. Skip it. I need for the meal prep.
This dude, let me tell you something, Jordan. This guy picks the worst times to do
that would be a tough time.
And it's like just crazy, but I respect it, but I couldn't do it. There's no way I could.
It wasn't planned out in timing, Jordan. I lost 43 pounds last time I did it. I was very happy with myself. I let myself get back to where I was, and being that I'm unhappy with myself, I can't wait till the new year and doing the New Year's resolution thing. It's got to be now. Can't handle it.
True.
No, that makes sense.
Understand it. She understands. She's an athlete. She's a meal prepper. She wants to be healthy.
All right. Well, let's get into this. The first question: coffee or energy drink? And I've learned a couple things from you. Is that maybe it's coffee milk, and maybe it's only Red Bull because the others are banned substances. So what if you had your choice, would you pick coffee or and
Coffee. But it
um
has to be just iced coffee. I do not like hot coffee.
no, not hot. Well, I mean, so here's my take. In Florida, it's hot most of the time, and I do like a nice cup of hot coffee. I love hot coffee. The problem is like if I'm gonna drink hot coffee only when it's cold outside, I would only be drinking it about 4 days out of the year. So I've
Yeah.
got to concede that. But I do like a nice cold brew coffee. That don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. That's my jam.
Daniel, I went and looked it up because of what Gabby said. So Jordan, to follow up from last episode, she said that you couldn't drink energy drinks because it'll flag y'all, possibly. Anyway, I said the LSU gymnasts promote one, and so Daniel, it's called Accelerator. Anyway, I feel like that's controversial if it's something that'll get them flagged on a test.
The funniest part about it is I want to say C4s are approved, but those are like crazy. They have some type of ingredient in it that like make your hands and feet tingle because a few of my like teammates and I like had tried it before and we're like, that's really weird. We're not gonna drink those.
Yeah, I mean, we have one of our sponsors is a health company, and Kaya and Alona, we were doing an event, and they said that they couldn't be seen with the product because same thing. It had some sort of stimulant in it. There was nothing illegal about the product, there whatever, but just per NCAA ban stuff, it was just something that gives you that little extra kick, and apparently
Yeah.
you can't do that. So it's one of those things that me and Daniel took a look at this. Y'all are not allowed to have fun. The banned substance list is like forever long. Like I'm surprised sugar's not banned.
Yeah, no.
And we're not saying like have outrageous fun. Like those products should be banned, but like
Yeah.
fun. Like I would say like a Red Bull, a Celsius. I mean, if you like it, then take it. I mean, what are they going to
Red Bull's gross, but my wife, since you're into the whole coffee, she's been drinking the new holiday flavor, vanilla bean or whatever. Springs is like the best one. So if either y'all do get the itch to get a energy drink and it is Red Bull, try that one that's got that pretty light blue
vanilla bean Red Bull.
I have never heard of that before. That's crazy.
Apparently, she's not the only one because she keeps getting upset that the store keeps selling out.
That is terrible. That is just all right. We got to move. We got to move on because if not, I'll sit here and ponder over this vanilla bean Red Bull that I'm trying to figure out.
That color right there. Can you see? You can't see it. Get closer. This won't do it on my screen.
Yeah, that's what it would look like on my table. Nothing, because I wouldn't have it. It would look.
Let's see. Does that work? No. Why is the screen white? It's so light. Anyway, it's the winter edition. And it's got more than one flavor, apparently. I've now learned something else. So there's multiple. There's iced vanilla, cotton candy. Get wild.
I've never heard of those before.
Those make me want to vomit. Those, like I could picture the marketing meeting. They're like, hey guys, we need something new. We need a holiday version. Everybody does seasonal stuff. How about peppermint bark? How about vanilla bean? How about a nice wooded scented tree? How about that? How about pine needles?
That's now you're just. I mean, those aren't even good smelling candles, to be clear.
Let me tell you something. Like a nice Fraser fir candle.
Oh, stop it! You're so old.
Yep, I'm an old man. I like that. I like what I like. I don't hate. All right, burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Would you rather only do floor or only do bars?
Oh, floor. Definitely. Bars once in a while, but definitely floor.
Would you rather only do beam or only do vault?
Beam. Definitely.
All right. Would you rather only do floor or only do beam?
Floor.
Floor. All the way. I feel
floor all the way.
Would you rather live in the country or in the city?
Country, 100%. Have a nice farmhouse. Big yard.
Lives in Cal.
Yeah. Roller skate or ice skate?
Ice skate, because
Ice
Christmas time.
skate.
Y'all got ice skating out on the pond in Rhode Island?
We do in Providence. So much fun.
Nice. Daniel, if we ever find out if it's a real place, we'll go ice skating.
Oh yeah.
Hey, not me. It's too cold. Nope.
Look, Daniel, when we go to the Cape, we're probably going to fly, but if we wanted to just make it adventurous and drive, we could like make sure that we can do Rhode Island, Delaware, all those states that I don't know that exist because I've never been there.
Yeah, you want
Rhode
to do
Island
a
isn't that far from the Cape.
See, there you go.
day trip? Day trip. Let's go. I
And
mean,
hold on. I done forgot. What are we supposed to check out if we go there? I done forgot.
Newport, Rhode Island.
That's right.
Newport.
Yes.
Newport,
Thank goodness
Rhode
these
Island.
episodes are recorded. Or I would not.
There you go. Beach or lake? I have a feeling I know the answer to this.
Beach.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Would you rather be an unknown superhero or a famous villain?
Unknown superhero, 100%.
What would your superpower be if you were a superhero? What?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I feel like being there for people, like being a helping shoulder for somebody, but then like not knowing you're there, but like helping them up when people are down.
So it's like an angel.
You know, it's like a good that would be great when you don't have to have any answers. You just know that when someone needs something, they're going to come to you and boom, you got it.
That's a perfect segue for me to tell Jordan about tonight because it connects with everything we've talked about, Daniel. It connects with that power and it connects with Christmas. So my wife she's out there here banging around right now. She's been decorating the house all afternoon and evening for Christmas. And Jordan, she was getting very frustrated to the point she almost didn't want to go to church tonight. Well, with that, she's one of the prayer leads that's up there that gives the opportunity for, people to come pray. Well, she didn't want to go. And then God said, hi, you're not only going, we're going to have the most people that have ever came to you. And during the two worship songs had 4 people. She's never had more than 2, she said, at any time. And she had bang, bang, bang. And the last one even came up and said to her, I don't even know what I'm coming up here for. I just felt like I needed to come up here. And so
I love that.
And so, she got to have the power that's what made me think of it. Frustrated with Christmas. And like I said, no, instead you're going to let all your frustrations go and you're going to put your hand on somebody and you're going to help them along the way.
God works in the most amazing ways.
Yeah. God had her thinking about Brandon Luke. Brandon Lake. Brandon Lake up there too.
If you're gonna listen to one of his songs that's slow, listen to Gratitude. That is my favorite one.
All right, I'll check it out.
He likes the hard stuff. What's the I'm trying to think of the name. Anytime it comes on the house, I start running through the house like a maniac. Keep going with your questions. I'm gonna look it up now because it's gonna bother me. She's gonna know what I'm talking about.
Like a maniac, huh? Wow, that must be.
He manages to go across the board with what he does.
All right, you can only have one for a road trip: shampoo or deodorant?
Deodorant, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to change it up. I thought some people might get risky and say, shampoo, but everybody's going deodorant.
No, deodorant cannot smell bad.
I told you, man. Like, not washing your hair is a thing.
There you go, Daniel.
Yeah.
It's counting.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're headbanging in the video. I'm not crazy, Daniel. I know I'm talking.
I didn't say you were. This is all new to me. This is all new. Brandon Lake is opening up my eyes to what's out there. All right, Jordan, last question, and we'll let you bounce. All right. I come to you and I say, Jordan, today is your lucky day. I'm going to give you the option of 2 different things. You can only have one of them, but you get to have them for free. One of them is a national championship. Cow gymnast, national champion, boom. All right. Or I have this briefcase and it's got $3 million in it. The easiest $3 million you would ever make. Which one do you take?
That one's a really tough one.
Oh, she's thinking, which means she wants money.
The thing is, I
Think of how many meals you could prep and how fast you could do it with $3 million.
the national championship, what makes it so amazing when you win that is you know all of the hard work that you put in to get there, and that's what makes it more impressive than the win itself.
Yeah, no one's ever said it's for the hardware. They always said it's for the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with your teammates.
That's what made last year so special, was knowing the amount of work we all put in to get there and how we picked each other up when things got hard, and we kept going and we still made it there. And I feel like that's why I'd have to say the money, because if you give me a trophy, it's just a trophy. Like, I didn't do anything to get there, but if you put in the work and you get there and win that trophy, that means a lot more.
So she says she's taking the money. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how rare that is on this show. You are guest 452, and you are the 14th guest to actually say money. So it's a very
no way.
Yes.
See, but the thing is, it's just a trophy.
Most of them are women.
That's really funny.
I actually think it's because the sports in which are in, the availability for professional level is different. So therefore they can see it differently, because y'all know that at the end of college gymnastics, that's the end of the road athletically. Yeah. And so money's a different thing.
Yeah.
Jordan, I was going to let you cut you loose, but I got to ask, you're a very faith-based person. And yep. I have a hypothetical for you, because I think these are good when you have people who are faith-based. And so here it is. So just bear with me. This is deep. This is the deepest question I've ever asked anybody.
I love that.
I asked it for the first time last night, so I'm going to ask it to you. Okay. All right. You're cleaning up your attic, and you are digging through, and you find a book, and you start reading this so-called book. And as you're reading it, you realize it's the story of your life. All right. You're just immersed in this book. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is exactly the way my life has gone. You get to the point in the book where you're currently at with your life. So you just read the page where you did a podcast. It's awesome. Do you continue to read the book knowing that that's how your life is going to end in the however many pages are left of that book? Or do you just let life play out?
I'm not going to read it. God's plan and everything that I have been through have made me the person that I am today. And if I didn't go through everything that I have been through, especially with my back, just everything and just how everything is played out, I would not be the person I am today. I would not have the perspective on life that I do, and I wouldn't do it. No.
So I asked the duo earlier, Daniel, and one of them said they would burn it like I said, and the other one said they'd absolutely read it to the last word.
Let me throw another little caveat into this. Let's say you get to the point where you're current day in this book and you only have 2 pages left.
Oh, gosh. No.
Man.
No, I don't think I could read it. I would sit
you
there.
Wouldn't want to know?
No, I would sit there in deep prayer and just pray for peace and that everything is going to be okay.
This is how the book would end. This is how the book would end. And Jordan decided to pray.
Yes.
And she
That's
prayed.
the way to go out, though.
And
but
she prayed and prayed again. And it would say that over and over for 2 pages.
I'm trying to do the bucket list stuff, though. Is there something that I haven't done in life that I wanted to do? If I got 2 pages left, we're going.
That's kind of why I don't know. Like, death is a really weird thing. Like, some people are very fearful of it, and some people are just like, hey, like, when it's time, it's time. But like, I don't know if I would want to know, but I don't know if I could get myself to the point of really letting myself know how it went. So I don't know if I could read it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think a big thing for me is God's timing and God's plan. And it's crazy to look back at how things played out and just how everything worked out exactly how it was supposed to, even when I couldn't see it in the moment.
Very well said. Jordan, anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
I just want to thank you guys so much for having me on the podcast, and I had a great time talking to you.
Absolutely. As always, if there's anything we can do for you along the way, please reach out to us, and have a happy, safe, successful, injury-free, championship magical season this year.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That is Jordan Kane, everybody. If you like hearing Jordan's story or you like hearing Gabby's story, hey, check them out. There's tons of them. Jim, on every platform, we've got hundreds of episodes for people to check out with stories just as entertaining, just as mesmerizing, just as astounding as the ones that we heard tonight. So check it out. Or you can always go to Facebook, give us some love there. You can go to Twitter, X, give us some love there. You can subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. You can go to YouTube, click subscribe, hit notifications. That way you get the first-hand account of when Jim uploads stuff. And it'll probably be in the next few hours, I would imagine. But anyhow, hearts, hugs, loves. We'll take it all. We'll see everybody next week. Another awesome week, Jim. Appreciate you, dude. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.